And right now, as we welcome Vice President Joe Biden and Congressman Paul Ryan.
That's a bunch of malarkey. I don't understand what my friend's talking about. Guys bet against America all the time. What we were told by the intelligence community.
And they wanted more security there.
Well, we weren't told there.
Them in spite of the administration. They tried a terrorist attack in the United States last year when they tried to blow up the Saudi ambassador at a restaurant in Washington, D.C. Tried to stop us from putting the tough sanctions in place. Now we have them in place because of Congress.
Vice President Biden.
It's incredible. Period. Period. You're going to go to war? Is that what you want to do now?
We want to prevent war.
So all this bluster I keep hearing, all this loose talk, what are they talking about? Period.
Let's look at this from the view of the Ayatollahs. It's that short a time or longer. I agree that it's probably longer. It's all about credibility.
You don't agree with that bomb and what the Israelis might do.
Look, we both,
Vice President
I don't want to
Biden.
go into classified stuff, but we both agree. And look at what this administration does.
Do
Let me tell you what the Ayatollah sees.
You have to have
the Ayatollah sees his economy being crippled. This is a bunch of stuff. Look, here's the deal.
What does that mean, a bunch of stuff?
Well, it means it's simply inaccurate.
It's Irish.
It's it is. We Irish call it malarkey.
Thanks for the translation.
No, we Irish call it malarkey.
It's in spite of their opposition.
Oh, God.
They've given 20 waivers to this sanction.
What about Bob Gates' statement? Let me read that again. Could prove catastrophic, haunting us for generations.
He is right. It could prove catastrophic if we didn't do it with precision.
And what it does, the Ayatollahs see these kinds of statements and they think, I'm going to get a nuclear weapon. They see us putting daylight between ourselves and our allies in Israel. That gives them encouragement. They've dedicated themselves to wiping an entire country off the map. They call us the Great Satan. And if they get nuclear weapons, other people in the neighborhood will pursue their nuclear weapons as well.
Vice President
We can't live with that. You know what the unemployment rate in Scranton is today?
Sure do.
It's 10%.
Yeah.
You know what it was the day you guys came in? 8.5%. That's how it's going all around America. Look.
You don't read the statistics. That's not how it's going. It's going down.
This is his 2-minute answer.
Look, did they come in and inherit a tough situation? Absolutely. But we're going in the wrong direction. He talks about Detroit. Mitt Romney's a car guy. Mitt Romney's a good man. He cares about 100% of Americans in this country. And with respect to that quote, I think the Vice President very well knows that sometimes the words don't come out of your mouth the right way.
But I always say what I mean.
not the first sort of mainstream African American who is articulate and bright and clean and a nice looking guy? I mean, that's a storybook, man. You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent.
I'd like to talk to you about your credit card.
They're going to put you all back in chains. Stand up, Chuck. Let them see you. Oh, God love you. What am I talking about?
I have a feeling you have a few things to say.
Let's not forget that they came in with one-party control. When Barack Obama was elected, his party controlled everything. They had the ability to do everything of their choosing, and look at where we are right now.
When could you get it below 6%?
That's what our entire premise of our pro-growth plan for a stronger middle class is all about. $90 billion in green pork to campaign contributors and special interest groups. There are, just at the Department of Energy, over 100 criminal investigations that have been launched into just how stimulus spends are being spent.
Martha, look, his colleague runs an investigative committee, spent months and months and months going into this.
This is the Inspector General.
And I love my friend here.
He did ask for stimulus money.
Sure he did. By the way,
on two occasions, we advocated for constituents who are applying for grants. That's what we do. We do that for all constituents who are applying.
I love that. I wish he would just be a little more candid.
Was it a good idea to borrow all this money from countries like China?
Let's talk about Medicare and entitlements.
Even their own chief actuary at Medicare backs this up. Instead of 15 bureaucrats deciding what, if, where, when they get it.
Vice President Biden, too.
You know, I heard that death panel argument from Sarah Palin. It seems every vice presidential debate I hear this kind of stuff about panels.
They got caught with their hands in the cookie jar, turning Medicare into a piggy bank for Obamacare. 4 million seniors are projected to lose the current Medicare Advantage coverage they have. That's a $3,200 benefit cut.
But we're saying more people signed
these are from your own actuaries.
More people signed up for Medicare Advantage after the change. Nobody is.
Mr. Vice President, I know.
No, this is
Mr. Vice President, I know you're under a lot of duress to make up for lost ground. But I think people will be better served if we don't keep interrupting each other.
Well, don't take all the 4 minutes then.
This is a plan that's bipartisan. I put together with prominent Democrat senator from Oregon.
There's not one Democrat who endorses it. Not one Democrat who signed
Our partner is a Democrat from Oregon.
And he said he does no longer support
we put it together with the former Clinton budget director. This idea came from the Clinton Commission to Save Medicare, chaired by Senator John Breaux. Here's the point, Martha.
Which was rejected.
If we don't fix this problem pretty soon, then current seniors get cut. That's not a political thing.
Martha,
that's
if we just did one thing, if they just allow Medicare $156 billion right off the bat.
And with the senior choices.
Seniors are not denied. So they are not denied. Look, folks, all you seniors out there, have you been denied choices? Have you lost Medicare Advantage?
Because it's
signed up?
Vice President Biden, let me ask you.
Barack Obama, 4 years ago, running for president, said, if you don't have any fresh ideas, use stale tactics to scare voters. If you don't have a good record to run on, paint your opponent as someone people should run from.
Look, folks, use your common sense. Who do you trust?
That statistic was completely misleading, but more importantly,
there are the facts, right?
This is what politicians do when they don't have a record to run on. Try to scare people from voting for you. If you don't get ahead of this problem, it's going to tax
Medicare beneficiaries have more benefits.
We're going to move on to a very simple question to you.
Medicare and Social Security did so much for my own family. We are not going to jeopardize this program, but we have to save it. If you taxed every person in successful small business making over $250,000 at 100%, it only run the government for 98 days. We have 3 bottom lines. Don't raise the deficit, don't raise taxes on the middle class, and don't lower the share of income that is borne by the high-income earners. He'll keep saying this $5 trillion plan, I suppose. It's been discredited by 6 other studies, and even their own deputy campaign manager acknowledged that it wasn't correct. We actually want to have big bipartisan agreements. You see, I understand
that. Do you have the specifics? Do you have the math? Do you know exactly what you're doing?
Look at what. What we're saying is, here's
I hope
a framework.
I'm going to get time to respond to this.
You'll get time. You guarantee this math will add up.
Absolutely. 6 studies have guaranteed. 6 studies have verified that this math adds up. But
Vice President Biden. Look, Vice President Biden.
Let me translate. Let me have a chance to translate.
I'll come back in a second then, right?
First of all, I was there when Ronald Reagan... away their ability to get a tax break to send their kids to college. That's why they arrive.
Is he wrong about that?
He is wrong about that. You can cut tax rates by 20% and still preserve these important preferences for middle-class taxpayers.
Not mathematically possible.
It is mathematically possible. It's been done before. It's precisely what we're proposing.
It has never been done before.
It's been done a couple of times.
It has never.
Jack Kennedy lowered tax rates, increased growth.
Now you're Jack Kennedy.
Ronald Reagan. Republicans and Democrats have worked together on this. I understand you guys aren't used to doing
bipartisan deals. What we're going to do when we did it with
Republicans and Democrats. Here's the things we're going to framework. Let's work together to fill in the details. That's exactly. That's how you get things done. You work with Congress. Look, let me say it this way.
That's coming from the Republican Congress working bipartisanly. 7% rating.
Mitt Romney was governor of Massachusetts, where 87% of the legislators he served with were Democrats. He didn't demonize them. He didn't demagogue them. He met with those party leaders every week. He reached across the aisle. He didn't compromise principles.
And you saw
found ground, and he balanced the budget.
So if he did such a great job, why isn't he even contesting Massachusetts?
What would you suggest? What would you suggest beyond raising taxes?
You guarantee that no one making less than $100,000 have a mortgage deduction impacted?
This taxes a million small businesses. He keeps trying to make you think that it's just some movie star, hedge fund guy.
97% of the small businesses make less than $250,000 a year. Would not be affected.
This taxes a million people. A million small businesses.
Tax 97% of the American businesses.
A million small businesses who are our greatest job creators.
I wish I get it. The greatest job creators.
Andrew going to increase the defense budget. Andrew going to increase the defense budget.
We're just going to cut the defense budget like they're proposing.
It's $2 billion.
That's not
more than that. No, so no massive.
And we're saying
defense increase.
Do you want to get into defense now?
Yes, I do. Because that's another math question. How do you do that? In defense
$2 trillion.
You don't cut defense by $1 trillion. That's what we're talking about.
And what national security issues justify an increase?
This invites weakness. Look, do we believe in peace through strength? You bet we do. And that means you don't impose these devastating cuts on our military.
We don't need more M1 tanks. What we need is more UAVs.
Some of the military. I know that's
not some of the military. That was the decision of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, recommended to us and agreed to by the president.
Who answered to the civilian leader?
They made the recommendation first.
Okay, let's move on to Afghanistan.
Can I get into that?
I'd like to move on to Afghanistan, please.
My friend and the governor say it's based on conditions, which means it depends. It does not depend for us. The military said the surge will be out. Nothing political about this. Before the surge occurred, I'm sure you'll find someone who disagrees with the Pentagon. I'm positive you'll find that within the military.
That makes them less safe.
We did not pull them out.
The calendar works the same every year.
It does work the same every year.
And spring, summer, fall. It's warm or it's not.
Our city's the most dangerous place.
That's why we don't want to send fewer.
That's why we should send Americans in to do the job instead of you'd rather Americans be going in to do the job.
We are already sending Americans to do the job, but fewer of them.
That's right. We're sending in more Afghans to do the job. Afghans to do the job.
Let's move to another war, the civil war in Syria. In March of last year, President Obama explained the military action taken in Libya by saying it was in the national interest to go in and prevent further massacres from occurring there. So why doesn't the same logic apply in Syria? Vice President Biden.
Now, every time the governor is asked about this, he doesn't say anything. He said,
Congressman Ryan.
Nobody is proposing to send troops to Syria, American troops. We gave Russia veto power over our efforts through the UN, and meanwhile, about 30,000 Syrians are dead.
What would my friend do differently? If you notice, he never answers the question.
No, we would not be going through the UN on all of these things. by the way, if we had the status of forces agreement that the vice president said he would bet his vice presidency on in Iraq, we probably would have been able to prevent that. But he failed to achieve that as well. Again,
let me ask you quickly, what's your criteria for intervention?
But if you're talking about putting American troops on the ground, only in our national security interests. The vice president himself went to China and said that he sympathized or wouldn't second guess their one-child policy. Now, I've got to take issue with the Catholic Church and religious liberty.
You have.
If they agree with you, then why would they keep suing you?
The court, the next president will get 1 or 2 Supreme Court nominees. That's how close Roe v. Wade is. Just ask yourself, with Robert Bork being the chief advisor on the court for Mr. Romney, who do you think he's likely to appoint?
I recently spoke to a highly decorated soldier who said that this presidential campaign has left him dismayed. He told me, quote, "The ads are so negative and they are all tearing down each other rather than building up the country." What would you say to that American hero about this campaign? And at the end of the day, are you ever embarrassed by the tone?
There are things that have occurred in this campaign and occur in every campaign that I'm sure both of us regret. And whether or not the slipshod comments being made by my friend or by Governor Romney serve our interests very well. There are things that have been said in campaigns that I find not very appealing.
You have a president who ran for president 4 years ago, promising hope and change, who has now turned his campaign to attack, blame, and defame. You see, if you don't have a good record to run on, then you paint your opponent as someone to run from. That was what President Obama said in 2008. That's what he's doing right now. Leaders run to problems to fix problems. President Obama has not even put a credible plan on the table in any of his 4 years to deal with this debt crisis.
He voted to put 2 wars on a credit card. He did.
We're going to the closing statements in a minute. You're going to have your closing statement.
Not raising taxes is not cutting taxes. And by the way, our budget,
we have not
spending by 3% a year instead of 4.5% like they propose. There are plenty of fine people who could lead this country. But what you need are people who, when they say they're going to do something, they go do it. What you need are when people see problems, they offer solutions to fix those problems. We're not getting that.
Congressman Romney.
I want to thank you as well, Martha. And I want to thank you, Joe. It's been an honor to engage in this critical debate. We face a very big choice. What kind of country are we going to be? What kind of country are we going to give our kids?
I'm Martha Raddatz of ABC News. I do hope all of you go to the polls. Have a good evening.